Hello and welcome to the best sports show on TV, the Ultimate Florida Sports Show. I'm Chris Porter alongside my tag team partner, Evan Closky. Hey, my friend.
Yes, sir. How you doing? It's great to see you again. We got a fun week ahead.
Yes.
Look, the Rays transfer and ownership is now complete. What it means for the franchise moving forward. In the heart of the game, we take a look at Devin Lloyd's work with the Wounded Warrior Project, plus our best bets in the Ultimate Stakes segment. But first, let's get started right here in Tampa because the doctor is in session, Chris, for the 7th consecutive season. Star wide receiver Mike Evans has a hamstring injury, and he's going to miss at least 2 games. This is on top of tight end Ko Kieft breaking his leg, which will sideline him for the entire season. The good news is Tristan Wirfs and Chris Godwin Jr. are on the precipice of returning, so that will be a huge boost for these Buccaneers. But this offense is beaten up, and no matter how many players get hurt, no matter how many offensive linemen are out of position, no matter how many times it looks like they're going to lose in the final minutes, they figure out a way to get it done. Baker Mayfield sees something special with this team.
The way guys have been able to execute, that's huge. That is maturity, that's growth, that's guys taking what we've talked about and being able to transfer it into a critical moment, which really, I don't know if I can put it into words how difficult that is in the heat of a moment to be able to calmly think and execute and do the little details right.
As for Mayfield, if the Buccaneers beat the Eagles this weekend, I think you'll start hearing some MVP chatter coming his way, Chris.
I'll start it for you. MVP, because what this dude is doing is absolutely sensational with all of the injuries. Speaking of those Eagles, not many teams are great at defending the tush push. Okay, here we go. But the Buccaneers have done a better job than most. Right, Evan?
Yeah, you're right about that. On a handful of occasions, they have stopped the tush push. Helps when you have a guy like Vita Vea out there, and when the team signed former Gators product Desmond Watson to the practice squad this week, many thought he was going to be the tush push specialist. Maybe in the future. Sunday, it's not happening. Todd Bowles confirmed that. As for the tush push itself, it is a highly debated play in the sport, one of which Bowles has no problem with.
I mean, I'm a fan of creativity. I think if somebody crafts something and they do it well and it's within the rules, it's up to the other side of the ball to stop them, whether it's offensively or defensively. They have something that they do very well. I think Buffalo's the only other team that can do that well. If everyone else can do it, everybody will be doing it. So it's a challenge for all the defensive coaches to try to stop it.
Now, Chris, I don't disagree with anything Todd Bowles just said, but I have to admit, and I know we disagree on this, I hate the play. The refs haven't officiated it properly, and for me, it's sort of like the shift in baseball that it got banned because it just wasn't fun to watch anymore.
Last I checked, this is the NFL. You got the best of the best going every Sunday. I don't know why people want to get rid of a rule or a play that has given another team such an advantage. A, stop it. And if you can't stop it, who says you can't run it? You run the tush push. But to say that we need to outlaw a play because the other teams can't stop it, this ain't no Pop Warner. This ain't no middle school. It's the NFL. You're supposed to have some of the best defensive minds in the world out there trying to stop this offense. Until you stop it, oh well, be mad, cry, I'm still with the tush push. I'm with you, Todd. Let's talk about the Jaguars as they prepare to take on the
I always love getting you worked up on that.
One
personal favorite of mine.
Voice and calling for a change in how the team utilizes rookie Travis Hunter. That voice belongs to none other than Deion Primetime Sanders, Hunter's former college coach at Colorado and one of his most vocal supporters. Speaking on a recent episode of the New Heights podcast, Sanders did not hesitate to express concern over Hunter's role in the Jaguar system. Coach Prime saying they don't use him enough. During his time in Colorado under Sanders, Hunter regularly played over 100 snaps per game as a dynamic two-way player. In contrast, through 3 games with the Jaguars, Hunter's logged just over 58% of offensive snaps and approximately 46% on defense. Liam Cohen acknowledged this week, that the team is still working to find the best way to maximize Hunter's impact, particularly given the demands of playing both sides of the ball.
It's a lot. So we've got to, I think, be a little bit more diligent in terms of putting him in positions to maybe not have to do as many moving parts, so that we can just let him go play. You saw, he catches the out cut the other day and makes multiple people miss, and so that's what we're trying to continue to push, and that's got to be on us as well.
And he's just special with the ball in his hand, so finding those opportunities, we got to continue to do that because you've seen the plays that he can make.
Well, the Jaguars, Coach Prime's advice is remain to be seen, but one thing is clear. Travis Hunter has the tools to make an impact.
Yeah, Chris, getting Travis Hunter could be the key to the Jags' offense getting going, right?
Or the Jaguars receivers could just catch the dang ball. It's a stat if you're a quarterback.
That would be nice.
Or offensive quarterback. Okay, but I'm just keeping it 100. You don't want to be leading the NFL in, and that's drop passes. However, the Big Cats do indeed have the most drop passes in the league, but drop passes, that's not the only problem this unit has. They're also killing themselves with penalties like illegal shields, false starts, etc. And we all know penalties will kill any drive quicker than anything. D-Law says despite the penalties, they've got to respond to the setbacks better.
I think last week we obviously struggled a little bit, so it's just about how we respond from that. You're going to play really good defenses in this league. You're not always going to play your best as an offense, but it's how do you respond and find a way this week against another good opponent to go out there and play better offensively and just be more consistent, better on third down. Obviously the penalties, throwing, catching, the passing game, we got to clean up and we got to be sharper, and then make the corrections in the running game and move on. But I think that's the key, is just getting better every week.
And keeping with the theme of keeping it 100, the 49ers defense is always one of the best in the NFL. Every year is tough. But let me say this. We don't need the Jags hurting themselves with dumb penalties.
Yep. And look, Jacksonville's playing San Fran at a really good time with the amount of injuries that franchise has right now. As for life at USF, for the first time ever, they officially have a CEO of athletics. Rob Higgins was introduced this week and talked about the master plan he has for this university. Win the building, win the campus, win the community, and then win the nation in that order. Rob Higgins said he is sick of potential. While other schools are scared of NIL, scared of investing in athletics, they are buying the dip and believe they'll be well positioned when the next round of talks around realignment are considered. When those talks ramp up again in the future, the school does not want to be left behind.
We currently probably check 2 to 3 of the 4 boxes needed. We have the academics and the television market. Our resources are improving, and now our performance is starting to trend in the right direction. We have a very small window here before the realignment discussions are likely to begin, and it requires all gas and no brakes from everyone in this room and outside of the room.
And Higgins is putting his money where his mouth is by donating $25,000 annually to the athletic department. The Bulls have the week off, but they begin their quest towards an American championship next weekend.
I like what he's saying. Put your money where your mouth is, and he has. I can respect that. The Georgia Bulldogs back in action this week after having last week off. The Dogs gearing up for their SEC showdown with number 17, Alabama. The Crimson Tide has been Kirby Smart's Achilles heel. Coach Smart has a record of 1-6 against Alabama. To give you some perspective, he's 107-13 against everybody else. If this year's game is anything close to that thrilling matchup we saw last season when number 4 Alabama defeated number 2 Georgia 41-34, we'll be in for a great one. It was a contest that featured a significant comeback effort by the Bulldogs in which they saw leads change hands multiple times, but ultimately sealed when Xavier Brown intercepted Jacksonville's own Carson Beck pass in the end zone. But that was then and this is now, and Coach Smart is impressed with Bama's quarterback, Ty Simpson.
He's a really good athlete. Like, he's a tremendous athlete. He played in games last year, and you watch all the snaps he took, and he has 60, 70, 80-yard runs that are, running down the field, outrunning good defenses. So he's a talented player. I would say he's probably the hottest quarterback right now in all of college football. His 2 last outings, I don't know that I've seen an incompletion. Like, the ball does not hit the ground. He's been accurate. He's been quick with the ball. They're really hard to defend because of their skill.
Coach Smart also praised the job Kellen DeBoer is doing in Tuscaloosa despite all the heat he's taken lately.
Yeah, very curious to see how both teams utilized that early bye week.
Also, real quick mention, EW head coach Brian Jenkins, the interim tag has been removed. He is now the head man. Congratulations. Mental health remains one of the most pressing issues for veterans and society as a whole. Tonight, we're taking you to the heart of the game to share what Jaguars linebacker Devin Lloyd is doing to raise awareness.
Plus, Stu Sternberg is out. The Closky group is in. How this will affect the Rays on the field next season in the Ultimate Rush.
Time now for the Ultimate Rush. This is where we sound off on some passionate topics some topics we're passionate about. And Evan, you're starting us off this week.
That's right. We have 60 seconds to make our point, and I'm going to start us off with the Rays ownership change. We've known for a while Stu Sternberg was on his way out, but now it's all but official with the Closky group out of Jacksonville getting unanimously voted by MLB owners to take over the team. While many Tampa Bay fans in the area are excited to see the Sternberg chapter end, it's just a reminder that most of the issues with Stu pertain to off-the-field stuff, most notably the stadium saga. Yes, he traded away all your favorite players. Yes, he was never going to spend in free agency, but he was also a consistent winner. And I know back-to-back seasons out of the postseason doesn't really prove that point, but in his 20 years, he made the playoffs nearly 50% of the time. Many executives that worked under Stu are already announcing their departure from the club, and I expect more will follow as this new ownership group comes in and wants its own people. If a stadium is built, it will all be worth it. But there is still a huge unknown with how the team will perform on the field. There is also a huge unknown with how much the new ownership group will spend on the club. But yes, this was change that needed to be made.
I'm just glad as the Rays turn, the soap opera is over, my friend. If you have not been paying attention to the Jacksonville Jaguars defense through the first 3 weeks, it's time to wake up because under new defensive coordinator Anthony Campanelli, this unit is for real. It all starts up front with edge rusher Josh Hines-Allen, who lived in the Houston Texans backfield last week, giving C.J. Stroud nightmares. Add Trayvon Walker to the mix, and quarterbacks don't have time to breathe, let alone read the field. The pressure up front is creating chaos, and the secondary is feasting. Jordan Lewis already has 2 picks, and the Jags as a whole lead the NFL in turnovers with 9. And no, I did not stutter. 7 of them coming via the interception. Let that sink in. They've already surpassed last year's total in 3 weeks. And around Duval, fans are starting to whisper a familiar name, Saxonville, a nod to that ferocious 2017 defense led by the mayor of Saxonville, Calais Campbell, Malik Jackson, and Jalen Ramsey. They say defense wins championships. And right now, Jacksonville's D look like it's built to bring those conversations back to life here in the 904.
Man, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are super jealous of that. They got 1 interception, and everybody was acting like it was the first time they've ever done it. Look, time now for the heart of the game. It's where we feature a story that goes beyond the X's and O's. And Chris, we got a great one, and we're sticking with the Jaguars.
Absolutely. Mental health remains one of the most pressing issues for veterans in society as a whole. More than 60% of warriors registered with Wounded Warriors Project report living with PTSD, anxiety, or depression. But this isn't just a veteran issue, it's a human one. During the summer, Jaguars linebacker Devin Lloyd and his Navy veteran father Joe joined Wounded Warriors Project Odyssey, a nature-based mental health program focused on healing through connection and resilience. Through mountain biking, paintballing, and tubing paired with workshops, they prove that even the toughest guys are not too tough to ask for help.
Ultimately, it's something that, it's taken time for me to grow in that space and really just feel comfortable being vulnerable. I think for me, the biggest thing is having people that I trust and that I know love me and that I love them and that I can truly open up to. And regardless of whether or not you need great advice, just getting whatever you have off your chest is always good. Ultimately, it's about being vulnerable and trusting somebody enough to tell them things that may be uncomfortable.
And I really appreciate this because getting help for mental health issues sometimes has a negative connotation, and it shouldn't. If you're having problems and you need help, male, female, it does not matter. You should not feel like you can't, like there's a problem. No, as he said, no matter how tough you are, get you some help.
Yeah, and I think the more and more people speak out on it, the more a community is built, and the more we can all feel accepted to say those things that sometimes we're just not okay. So a really big tip of the cap to Devin Lloyd and everything he is doing. Coming up, it is the ultimate stakes. A pair of undefeated teams in Tampa. The Jags looking for an upset in San Fran. We got our best bets in a couple of minutes.
This might sound strange, but I wasn't always a good dad. My kid needed to hear me say, I'm sorry.
See what you got. Oh, you gonna back me down? So you gonna pose me?
He knows I'm not perfect, but he knows I'm trying. That's why I choose to be a father first.
Time now for the Ultimate Stakes. This is where we take a look at the odds via the Hard Rock betting app and give you our thoughts on teams or games. It all depends on the week.
Yeah, just a reminder, this is for entertainment purposes only. So let's start off in Tampa with a battle of undefeated teams. Tampa Bay, 3.5-point underdogs at home against an Eagles team. They've beaten 6 out of the last 7 times they've squared off. I'm not touching the side, but I just want to say the Eagles have been outgained in every contest they've played thus far. The offense looks disjointed. They have injury issues of their own. Getting more than a field goal on the road seems a bit rich, but again, just a gut feeling there. As for some props I'm looking at, I still don't trust the Buccaneers defense against pass-catching running back Saquon Barkley over 13.5 receiving yards. Meanwhile, Bucky Irving is playing on more third downs this year. 14 catches on 14 targets. Give me over 3.5 receptions for him. Finally, Baker Mayfield simply cannot help himself, so I'll say he rushes north of 17.5 yards, Chris.
All right, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going into Sunday's game against the San Francisco 49ers 2-1. And at the time of this show's recording, they were 3.5-point underdogs. There's no question the Jags defense seems to have things figured, have things under control, but it's the offense that's still having some issues. As I stated earlier in this show, the offense keeps getting in its own way with drop passes and costly penalties. The Hard Rock app is predicting Travis Etienne will run for about 51.5 yards. I'm saying I'm going to take the over, and here's why. Etienne is one of the top rushers in the NFL. As for wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr., Hard Rock believes he'll have about 62.5 yards receiving. And as much as I want to believe he'll have more, I'm still not convinced that BTJ and Trevor Lawrence are on the same page. So I'm taking the under, even though I'm hoping that 46-yard catch last week can be the difference in him getting things going.
I think the Jaguars have a chance to upset the Niners. As for the Dolphins, primetime game for the squad and favored. Yes, favored against the New York Jets. If McDaniel wants to still have a job by the end of the year, these are the games he has to win. Luckily for Miami, the Jets have a depleted secondary, so I figure Tua and company can march down the field a little bit, especially after a long layoff in that tough-fought effort in Buffalo. Devon Achane, more likelier than not, is going to find a touchdown, so you'll want to clump him in with a parlay because his price is a little juiced. I also think he'll be utilized in the passing game as well. On the flip side, I'm not too confident in the Dolphins' defense, so fire me up Breece Hall over 49.5 rushing yards. I know he hasn't been doing well recently, so it's a good buy low opportunity.
I'll say this for Mike McDaniel, your team played so tough last week. If they can put together that same effort this week, he'll get his first win of the season.
Yeah, especially against the Jets for sure. In the last word, the Buccaneers are celebrating 50 seasons, and celebration is the key word. Why FSU product Derek Brooks provides important perspective in 2 minutes.
Time now for the last word. Dr. Closky, sound off.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are celebrating 50 seasons, and celebration is the key word because for much of its history, the organization has lost a lot of games. From 1983 to 1996, 0 playoff appearances. From 2008 to 2019, 0 playoff appearances. Those are some dark, dark times. And right now, the Bucs are in their golden era. And even though the team is rattling off a bunch of wins, it's still important to alums like Derek Brooks to embrace the ones that came before them.
It was frowned upon to look prior because it was, synonymous with losing. But the fact that we don't have to be embarrassed about that today as a community is what I'm proud of.
Chris, it is much easier to love winners than losers, but we cannot be scared to look back and at least thank the people who tried their best for the team, even if it didn't result in many wins. That's the foundation that was set up here.
Absolutely. Let's talk college football. Since Florida State's statement win over Alabama to open the season, we have not talked much about them and Ware County alum and Waycross native Thomas Castellanos. But I've been watching, and let me tell you, this offense is explosive. Now, I'm not a guy who gets caught up in running down stats, but some numbers you just can't ignore. Last week against Kent State, FSU racked up 775 total yards. That's 498 rushing yards, a school record, and another 277 through the air in that 66-10 beatdown. That's their second straight win by more than 50 points. And mad props to Mike Norvell, who after last season's disaster on offense, made a bold move, bringing in Gus Malzahn, and it's paying off. Yeah, I know it's Kent State. I know it's East Texas A&M, but don't let the opponents fool you. What this offense is doing is flat out incredible. And we got an analyst here named James Coleman, who's a Nole. He's been doing this all year, and he's hoping that he continues to do it for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with how Mike Norvell has turned this thing around, especially after how ugly last season looked. For Chris Porter, I'm Evan Closky. Thank you for watching, and the Ultimate Florida Sports Show will be back here next week.
Bye.